Hello and welcome to TV30, a production of the Government Information Service and NTN. I am your host, Kendell Eugene, and today we're going to have a very insightful discussion on Teaching to Reach Boys program. With us for our discussion today is Ms. Marie-Louise Joseph from the Piero Combined School. We have Ms. Septima Abbott from the Beanefield Comprehensive Secondary and Ms. Shireen Saltibus from the Viewfort Primary. Welcome to the discussion.
Thank you.
Let's delve into it almost immediately, but we want to know about you guys first, so you ladies first. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, briefly, and your roles. You can start with Ms. Saltibus.
Well, I am Shireen Saltibus, teacher of the Viewfort Primary School. I've been teaching for the past 33, counting, years. I've mainly taught boys, and this program just gave me a little bit more information as to how I can help my boys, especially watching what's happening in our society. I felt like I had missed something and I wanted to try to get back in touch with my boys, so took part in the program.
All right. Ms. Joseph?
Yes, my name is Marie-Louise Joseph. I'm a teacher at the Piero Combined School and I've been teaching for 7 years and I'm currently pursuing my degree in primary education. I teach French at the Piero Combined School, so I interact with the students from K to 6, so we have both boys and girls. And Train to Reach Boys was a very insightful program that helped me to understand the students much better.
Okay. Yes. And Ms. Abbott?
I am Septima Abbott. I teach at the Beanefield Comprehensive Secondary School. I teach French and English. I was fascinated when I saw the program, especially now with the problem that we have been going through with our boys, and it was a joy to engage in this program, which was very educational and helpful for my teaching.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's talk about the program a little bit more and allow folks to understand exactly what it is all about. Can anyone elaborate on the role and the significance of a program like Teaching to Reach Boys? What exactly does it entail as well?
Okay, the program allows one to understand that boys are different from girls, and sometimes we put all in one. All fits in one, but we had to understand that boys are so different in terms of how they learn, and because of this program now we are able to change our content, redirect our content, meaning do not teach the same information but in different ways to allow our boys to enjoy learning as well, rather than just saying, okay, we are teaching for the students to learn. No.
Now, with
I would just like to add to that, to say that the program helped me understand that boys, they are very different in the sense that a girl would sit down and listen to a teacher, but a boy, he wants to get up, he wants to do things, so we have to change our lesson plans, yes, so that to encourage them to be more, to participate more in class and to be encouraged to learn. Yes, so that's what I got from it.
Okay.
Yes. Likewise, especially the playing part and having my boys just be themselves, be free to speak, know that they remind them that they actually have a voice and that I'm listening to them, I'm trying to help them out, and also I'm trying to change my whole way of teaching so I can meet them where they need to be met.
Okay. With the Teaching to Reach Boys program, is it the program that has a lifespan? Has it ended or is it still ongoing?
It has ended. It was for approximately a month.
Okay.
We started on the 19th of June and ended on the 12th of July.
Okay. What key areas did you all have covered in the during the program? What key areas were covered in that program? Because you've mentioned about the boys, of course, behavior, I expect. But could you give us a bit more insight on what was covered during the program?
Okay. The program also allows us to change the manner in which we impact knowledge. For example, we were introduced to the STEAM, where students, they're allowed to use their creativity. Most times you enter the classroom and the pattern, the style is the traditional way students are seated writing, but then there are students that are good at painting, at singing. They are allowed to use those abilities, those skills to provide the information that is required rather than having everybody doing the same thing.
Okay. What's the difference for you?
Well, what I really learned from that was that, in light to what she said, the boys are different, so it helped us to learn how to put our planning better, so that would help the boys learn more in the sense that we can incorporate more art in there, more music. What I really enjoyed about it was that they had a section where we learned that we incorporate music and we ask them more questions to keep them more participative in class, more attentive, and also the part where we get them more involved in the teaching. So we have them come to the board, get them manipulatives and so on, so they can learn more, and it would be more interesting for the boys.
Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Fatima, you've been basically the veteran in all of us here. My question to you would be, what are some of the key challenges that educators encounter in delivering instructions to the boys, the male students, as opposed to the girls?
Well,
what are the difficulties that you probably encounter?
For one, getting them to sit still and hear what's being taught to them. Also, we didn't really understand that boys are naturally competitive. So in my mind, I don't know if other persons were like that. I felt like it was just for sports, like they just love sports. I didn't realize it was the competitive aspect of the sports that they actually enjoyed, because boys are naturally competitive. The sitting still, I thought again it was because they were athletic, that's why they were not able to sit still and to grasp them. But then during the program, I realized that, like you said, the STEAM aspect, where you had to introduce into the curriculum the science, the technology, the engineering, the arts especially, and the mathematics. The arts, for me, it happened, I actually used it this year with my class, and I saw the benefits of it. So that was something I had not done in my previous 30-something years teaching, just incorporating the STEAM aspect into everything which I did, whether it was science I was doing, whether it was language, just incorporating into my entire teaching process. It helped me out a lot. I just wish I had done this program a bit earlier.
Okay. If it had been done earlier, do you think you'd see some changes in how you would possibly teach your classes?
Definitely, because I've always been a hands-on teacher. I enjoy doing I have no degree or anything in agriculture, but I enjoy doing the natural stuff, the hands-on approach. So having my students engage in the environment, engage in community, that was what drove me to stay into teaching. And this program just helped me to realize that there's actually merit in what I was doing before, that I never even realized it was helping our boys out.
Okay. Ms. Albert, with what Ms. Saltimus just said, did you have any similarities while you were teaching with your boys?
Well, for me, one of the ways in which the program have been beneficial is that the behavior problem. And sometimes we blame the students, not realizing that we have to reflect on the manner in which we teach. And what I discovered is that after I had acquired the knowledge from the program, I changed the manner in which I taught. I allowed them to be more active, dancing, using the drum, that's what they like, be more creative. And I saw a drastic change in the manner in which they were behaving. They were engrossed in their learning, and I had less behavior issues, and even in the interest in the language, because sometimes it's just difficult to have students to love a foreign language, and it has brought about a lot of benefits in terms of the behavior and the performance.
Okay. So you're nodding in agreement with that as well?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Now, let me know some of the challenges that you faced, for example, the behavioral issues, having them just to pay attention to the foreign languages. I mean, when I was at school, it was a problem to have us sit down and try to learn a new language.
Yes.
It really was. How did that impact your teaching and the learning outcome for the entire class? Because it's not just boys you were teaching, you had girls as well.
Yes.
All right. So how did that affect the classroom, the class setting?
Well, when you have a class and you find that you are struggling to make students learn, it gives you a a reason to reflect. And at a point, I started asking myself whether I was doing the right thing. Okay. And especially now, the population of boys in our school, it is high. Okay. So after the program, I discovered that, as Miss indicated, that the boys are totally different when it comes to settling in the class. They are more active, and I was not aware of that at all. So you would blame them because you are not aware, you're not knowledgeable of something. Then I started being a little more calm with them, receptive, accepting them for who they are. Okay. And I knew that I had to redirect, change my teaching. So because I started incorporating the singing, the role play, and allowing them to do the different activities that they like, not drifting from the content, because sometimes we move away from the content just to please us, to make our class fun, which is not the right thing. I suspect that it has changed, and the atmosphere, it is more positive presently.
Excellent, excellent. Now, in reflecting of your participation in that program, what are some of the key lessons that you derived from it, may have negatively or positively affected your approach to teaching the male students? Because I have already picked up that understanding male behavior is totally different from how it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Oh, yes.
Right? So what did you get from the program that has positively or negatively impacted your teaching style?
Okay, so what I understood is that the way boys behave, so boys are more interactive, they don't sit still, so I had to change my lesson. So instead of just teaching and using videos and songs, so I would get them to stand up, sing, come to the board, and also the use of manipulatives helps them as well. So if I'm teaching colors, for example, I get them some Play-Doh, they can use that, they play with that, they make different things, we make sentences from that, so it's more interesting for them. And also I learned that in terms of my teaching style, so I would definitely say I would use I have changed a lot. Okay, so before I was a little frustrated about why they behaving like that, why are they doing that, but now I understand. Like me said, she's more calm about it, so we have more understanding about how they behave. So when we see certain behaviors, we know what to do. So that's my take on it.
All right.
Yes.
Now, Ms. Saltibus, what are some of the benefits that you observed as a result of the training while you were in your classroom?
Okay. But even before my classroom part, it got me to want to know more about how I could help the boys. I don't only teach boys, but I've always been told that I have a preference for my boys. I always felt that there was a disconnect between me understanding them. So benefit-wise, I wanted now to find more ways to help out my boys. So I began giving them more responsibilities. Before, it would just be, okay, you can sweep the class, like teaching them skills that they needed for life. But now, decision processing, they were making process, they were able to being in the classroom and help us decide what we're going to do to get our class to be better, to be more interactive, to be more suitable for them, so that they could thrive in our classroom, and later on, when they leave the school, that they can thrive in that school. So I learned from that program. Then there was another program, which was the Innovation Lab. It happened during our summer vacation. I said, yes, I want to be part of that too. Okay. So I went to learn more about helping my boys. And whatever I learned,
pushed you to learn more.
Yes, I was able to bring it back into my classroom in September and get my boys to organize something which we call Snack and Chat. And it was a prototype of a program which we did for the Innovation Lab. Okay. And my boys enjoyed that. I mean, every Thursday afternoon we met at 2 o'clock. We sat on, they chose what we were going to be doing. The girls chose what they were going to be doing. They brought their blankets, brought their snacks, because I don't really allow my students with snacks during the week. So we had this, what they call a snack buckets, and then they would put the snacks in. And on Thursdays or Friday afternoons, we'd have a little pig out, and they sit down and they speak to me about, Miss, you did this week, I didn't really like it. And bit by bit, they didn't just wait for the Thursday or Friday afternoon to tell me what I did that was not right. I didn't wait until the Thursday or Friday afternoon. During the week, they would just tell me what we were doing, was right, what was not right, what they liked about the week. It got them to be a little bit more vocal. So I felt, yes, I mean, that was one thing which I actually achieved. My boys actually getting in touch with their feelings and telling me something happened which I did not like.
Excellent.
So I love that part.
All right. We'll take a quick break, and when we get back, we will have some more with the Teaching to Reach Our Boys program. A very interesting discussion here today with teachers from the Piero Combined, Beanfield Comprehensive, and Vieux Primary. This is TV30. Back in a minute.
Fisherfolk in St. Lucia are facing many negative effects of climate change.
La vie pêche est difficile parce que pour ça aller plus fond, ça nous peut acheter plus fuel pour faire journée là mais nous pour dépenser plus la gasoline. En raison ça la vie pêche difficile.
Parti là c'est un qui affecte nous la vie. Il peut affecter vivre nous, il peut affecter canaux nous et il peut affecter machine nous. Aussi il peut affecter placement pêche.
Assurer c'est pour ça difficile pour pêcher ça assurer quand d'autres après la meilleure et puis pour adopter changement du climat.
Climate change is happening. Are you prepared? Changement climat qu'a fait. Est-ce préparé?
Welcome back to TV30, a production of the Government Information Service. I am your host, Kendell Eugene, and with me on our discussion for Teaching to Reach Boys, a program sponsored by EQUIP, is Ms. Marie Louise Joseph from the Piero Combined School. We also have Ms. September Abbott from Beanfield Comprehensive Secondary School and Shireen Saldibus from the Vieux Primary. We've learned so far how interactive it takes a classroom to get the boys to focus. We've also learned that teaching boys and girls is two totally different subject matters. Before we get into more of the program and all what the benefits that you all derive from it, tell us about EQUIP. What does EQUIP mean, or who is responsible for EQUIP?
Well, it's actually the government of St. Lucia.
Okay.
And it's one of the programs which they wanted to do to see how, again, we could reach our boys.
Okay.
Bearing in mind all that's happening in our society. And it's for education, for quality, what is it? Improvement program, yes. Okay. My apologies. Yes.
Not a problem. Even I would forget that at times. You mentioned something, and that is so important, and that is what's happening in our community now, the current climate. Whenever we read the newspaper, whenever we listen to the news, we hear of the crime that happens, and it is always our boys. Clearly there is a disconnect somewhere. Do you believe that a project like Teaching to Reach Boys can bridge that gap, or at least try to connect what has been broken? Anybody can take that question.
I definitely think so. It helps us as teachers to know how to reach them, so they will be more open to us. They will be learning more. Mm-hmm. They'll be more interested in school, and therefore want to be someone in society than if we didn't know how to reach them. Mm-hmm. And I also think that the parents as well, if they get that program for the parents, because charity begins in the home. A lot of times, yes, in the classroom they behave that way, but some of the issues that they come with are from home as well. So if the parents know how to reach their boys, we can curb what's going on in society to do with. Every time like you said, when you read the newspaper, it's always someone got shot, mm-hmm. and it's always the boys. And even in our prisons today, most of the boys are there. So if we can do that as a society, we can help curb that. And later on in life, we can see that there are more boys out there who have more positive influences in society, positive influences in the home, in the family, and we'll have a better society.
Okay. In your experience, what are some of the effective strategies or techniques that have proven successful in engaging and supporting male students?
The strategies in terms of
what you do. What would you do that you realize, okay, that has gotten to him, I will continue using it?
Okay, well, the use of music, mm-hmm. Getting their attention, using their names, getting them to do things in the classroom, being helpers in the classroom instead of. So if I notice one person is always disruptive, instead of saying, John always doing that, always misbehaving. So we're like, maybe today John will be a helper, so he feels helpful, he feels useful, he feels important, yes. So he would be, okay, I'm the helper today, so I'll try to behave, I'll help miss, I feel important and so on. So trying to include them in little things like that helps them feel important and helps them to be, sometimes we never know what they're going through at home, and sometimes they might even reach out to us so we can help them better.
Miss, would you agree? And have you tried anything like that?
Yes. Sometimes when you are not knowledgeable of something, you react in a certain way which is not positive. So as a teacher, what I would usually do when a student is constantly misbehaving, I would put this child out. But because of this program, I understood that there are other things that I can do to help that child develop an interest in what I am teaching. So presently, I try not to put students out. I try to change around my teaching and to help the boys or the boy that is being disruptive engage more. For example, group work. Group work where you decide whom do you want to work with. So when a child is working with the person that he or she feels comfortable, especially the boys, that child will most of the time, behave and work with this person. This is one thing, can pair the students so that they can mentor each other, they can assist each other. Yes.
I like the fact that you mentioned putting a child outside. I will not say me, but I remember seeing a few being marched outside, and I always thought to myself, but how is that being productive if the child is outside and not learning? Okay. But the most important thing for me, taking from that one was, one, not to disrupt the class, but also, if I'm to learn, I need to understand to pay attention. Yes. Now, paying attention is something that, for us, 5-second span. If we're not interested in it, it will not be something we want to learn. So how do you keep your children, your boys, interested in your subject? What do you do? Ms. Saltibus, you can take that.
Well, for me, I teach everything except music and PE. So with having them, for one, tell me what they're interested in, and trying to incorporate that into my lessons. It's something I've always done, but with the program, even more now, so I realize that my boys are into the adventure, but they're not into the adventure, and through the program again, through the adventure that I would be interested in. Their adventure would be more like the sci-fi, my boys love Lion King, and that's something I didn't see all the drama in the Lion King. They say in the book reports, that's what they were focusing on. Okay. The X-Men and the Lion King and the dinosaurs. So
the virtual world is the scientific world.
Yes, but the exploration part of it, and I didn't see it in that aspect. The subway, like the submarines, stuff like that. So it got me into thinking that, okay, there's a lot more that program can offer, not just to me, but to other teachers, especially from the preschool aspect. Because we believe that the students, they learn by play. And we did not at college that students learn best through play. But I was able to see the play, the music, having them create stuff. It sort of reminded me of what I learned initially at Teachers College and what our students actually need for them to be more well-rounded and grounded students and young persons.
So how can schools and educational organizations now further support people like yourself, the educators who are in the classroom, who know firsthand what they go through on a daily basis, in implementing such strategies and principles that was learned through the program? How can they support you? What would you say that needs to be done? Should they encourage more projects such as Teaching to Reach Boys? Should it be a yearly program, quarterly program?
Well, I strongly believe that this program should be taught at Teachers Training College. Because presently we live in a society which is totally different, and most times the emphasis is on theory and the practice. But do not forget the understanding, the emotional aspect. It has to be fulfilled. We have to understand whom we are dealing with. And unless we don't understand behavior and the people that we are dealing with, the children, we will not be able to meet their learning needs. So when teachers are trained how to relate, how to deal with behavior, how to handle certain challenges that they are confronted with in the class, they will be able to be more flexible when it comes to focusing on trying to make students love what they are learning. Because if you do not love what you are learning, you cannot be motivated and you cannot behave in a manner which is acceptable. And once we can get students to love what they are learning, and they get to love what they are learning when they are given an opportunity to be creative, and most of the challenges that we are having, we will not have it because they are learning in a meaningful manner. They are not learning in isolation.
Right.
They are being themselves while learning. They are enjoying what they are doing. So this is what we have to place more emphasis on, making students enjoy what they are doing and allowing them to use their creativity, learning the manner in which they feel comfortable, the manner which makes them feel happy, and move from the traditional approach.
All right. Do you agree? Anybody?
I agree with her, but I would also like to add that I think the Ministry of Education needs to put more programs for the parents as well. So if the parents better understand boys, they'll be able to reach them as well, and the work for teachers will be simplified as well. Right. So that's my take on it. We also had a program, I think the parents will be very interested. We had a program at our school where we had a training for the parents, and the parents came out in numbers and they were trained, and they received the information, and they said they were going to impart that in the way that they train their children. So I think if the parents do get the training, they will be interested to attend.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, finally for me, how do you believe collaboration and knowledge sharing among educators, policymakers as well, and the stakeholders could contribute to the advancement of programs like this? Do you think, like said, the parents need to be involved? Do you think it needs to be taught not just at Teachers College, but in the school system as well, or refreshers every other month? Anybody can take that one.
Okay.
I strongly believe that most times what is good, we keep it to ourselves. And as a nation, everyone should be informed, equipped when it comes to raising children. And if everybody makes it their business to do something, sacrificing some way to enhance the nation, to enhance our future generation, it will be beneficial to all of us. We have our business places in any manner that they can contribute. For example, there are certain things that are needed at the schools, certain programs, they can finance it once they realize that it is useful, valuable to bring in some changes, positive changes. We have the Ministry of Education, where if they realize that more needs to be done in terms of supervision, because sometimes we run programs and we do not analyze, we do not do research, we do not find out whether those programs they were useful, they were effective, whether we should continue, what is needed more, what is needed to enhance it. Also, sometimes when we have programs, we tend to neglect its effect, meaning that another organization takes place, we push it aside. We do not say, okay, yes, there is another organization, but we will keep this one because it is beneficial to us. Okay. We have to move away from that. What is good, what is positive, we keep it and we enhance it in order for us to go forward.
And then we share it.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We just had an insightful discussion on the Teaching to Reach Boys program here on TV 30. I'd like to thank my guests for coming in. It's Shirin Saltiba from the Beaufort Primary. We have Septima Abbott from Infield Comprehensive and Ms. Marie Louise Joseph from the Piero Combined School. Yes. Wishing you all success in your classrooms, especially the male students.
Yes, thank you.
This has been TV 30. I'm your host, Kendell Eugene. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.